Be worried.
We love the dreamers. We love everybody.
Sources tell CNN that President Trump is expected to end an Obama-era program that protects young undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children from being deported. The issue, one of the president's core campaign promises.
I want the children that are growing up in the United States to be dreamers also. They're not dreaming right now.
President Trump's plan would affect some 800,000 so-called dreamers studying and working in the U.S. Two sources with knowledge of Trump's thinking tell CNN that the president is planning to delay his action for 6 months, giving Congress time to come up with a legislative replacement to DACA. But a growing number of Republicans are speaking out against the move.
These kids don't know any other home. I think there's a humane way to fix this. I think President Trump agrees with fixing this, and it's got to be up to the legislature.
There are 800,000 DACA kids who were brought across the border. The median age, I think, is 6 years old for those 800,000 when they came across the border. They should not be punished for the sins of their parents.
Senator Bernie Sanders says ending the program would be one of the ugliest and cruelest decisions ever made, while Republican Congressman Steve King praised it as a chance to restore rule of law.
The DREAM Act, or DACA, which stands for Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals, is a government program that was created as a potential solution to the dilemma faced by dreamers. DACA has been a major success because it gave undocumented immigrants brought to the United States as children the opportunity to work and study here without fear of deportation. These undocumented immigrants, who came to the country before they reached the age of 16, are known as dreamers. The DREAM Act also provides these unknowing adolescents the potential to attain permanent citizenship in the United States. There are currently 800,000 illegal immigrants enrolled in the DREAM Act in the United States. Recently, however, there have been disagreements and attempts to modify the DREAM Act, or even to nullify it. Now, President Trump has decided to nullify the program and threatens to begin deportations within 6 months. This leaves an uncertain future for these immigrants enrolled in the DREAM Act as the current President Donald Trump and Congress try to establish the replacement for DACA. DACA should be reinstated in its previous form or in a new and improved form because it benefits the U.S. economy as a whole and because it gives those immigrants deemed dreamers a chance at the American dream and freedom in their future lives.
Last week, and the two of us had this conversation about DACA, and Alex basically made the argument about why it's a bad idea to get rid of it, but it was an economic argument. So make that argument again real quick, Alex, if you can. I'm sure Nick will have a reaction. Go ahead.
So the DACA kids right now, there's about 800,000 of them. 91% of them are employed in the workforce. They pay in federal taxes about $60 billion a year over the next decade, more than they consume in benefits. And their contribution to American GDP over the next decade will be about $280 billion.
Right.
The DREAM Act should be reinstated because it will provide numerous economic benefits to the country as a whole. In a study done by the Center for American Progress, it was found that there's a very low % chance that the DREAM Act results in a net loss in economic wealth. The immigrants who would be applied in the program would not deter from or make life harder, but would rather allow it to flourish by providing a greater income nationally. Under the DREAM Act, the economic benefits in the short term include fully educated employees, which would lead to a higher ceiling in income, and higher productivity, which would provide greater income in the long run. Another reason that these abandoned and unfended for dreamers need the DREAM Act to be reinstated is because it gives them a chance at the American dream and at life in general. In an ever-changing world that becomes crueler and more destructive daily, the least the United States, the greatest country in the world, can do is give them a chance at life. They should not be punished for their parents' transgressions or mistakes. In turn, these immigrants can grow up to make a real difference in the world. Hopefully, Congress and President Trump can realize the importance of the DREAM Act and reinstate it promptly.